Hi guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to start your handover video on your Autotrail Cheyenne. So we start in the cab. I'll show you a few bits in here. So you've got your cruise control dial up here, indicators and lights on the left hand stalk, and your wipers and wiper blades on the right. Automatic gearbox, so it's sort of a semi-automatic as well. So if you put your foot on the foot brake, over and just click over there for automatic, and then back to the middle there for neutral. Down is for reverse, and if you have it there in automatic and it comes up saying A in the middle, then you can also push up or down for changing up and down the gears. So that's something to bear in mind. Your handbrake is down here on the left hand side. We've got a few bits in the middle, so you've got a reversing camera which you have to turn on via the left hand button at the bottom. You've got your heater, sort of heat setting, so hot or cold, and you've got your fan setting in the middle. You've also then got where the fan sort of pumps the air to, in the middle there, and then on the left hand side you've got air conditioning. So you push this button here at the bottom, and then you get some aircon. So that's about all there is to it. You've got the centre button there for the hazard warning lights. And your which is your fog lights there as well. So yeah, Alpine singled in head unit, and also you've got the ridiculously comfy sort of lorry style seats, so it sort of pumps up and down on air, and really when you go over any bumps you just don't feel them, so really nice. So on the door here you've got left and right, so that's a left hand mirror, so that's over there, and obviously if you switch that over to right, then that's how you adjust these mirrors electronically. You can leave it in the middle for off, and then you've got your two buttons here for the electric windows. So obviously it's diesel as well, so when you do turn it on, first off you need to put the own keys back in the pocket. You need to, with this one, because you've got the alarm, you need to press this button on the right hand side before you go to start it up. So just click that, then pop your key in, turn the ignition on, and just wait for this. You see the little yellow coil pack light that went out, and then you better start her up. As long as it's got neutral in the middle there, N, start straight up. Okay, so as long as you've got neutral there in the middle and not A or R, then you're good to start up. And then switching it off in the middle, and that's it. One thing to bear in mind when you start these up is that your step, if it is out, it will go in on its own, it will retract. So just make sure that you're not stood on it or anything's on it, anything like that. So yeah. So under the bonnet, we've got on the left hand side washer fluid, brake fluid here attached to the servo. Your engine oil goes in through this cap here on the top of the engine. You've got the sort of dipstick for the oil. Over here we've got the expansion tank for the coolant. So that's where you top up your engine coolant. And your engine battery is here. So you've got a few little relays and fuses and bits and pieces. That's all totally normal. It's just for the 12 volt fridge and the charging, all that kind of thing. Obviously it's had its full service as promised, and you know, so everything should be absolutely as it should, but that's where those bits are if you ever needed to get to it. And this is the 5-cylinder Mercedes CDI engine, so really reliable, lovely smooth thing to drive. So yeah, this big heat shield here as well is for the turbo, so just make sure you don't get anything too close to that down there, because that'll get really hot. Carry on round down to the near side. We've got the fuel cap, so you need to have the door open to get these open, and it's just a case of the reason it's not got a key slot on it is because you actually have to have the door unlocked and open anyway. So you know, if I close this up now and close the door, it locks it in. You can't open that up until you've got this door open. Next locker along on the near side still, we got here is your solar controller. So that's just basically the solar panel charging up the two leisure batteries down here. and you've got your battery charger, so that's when you plug your hookup cable into the van, and that'll start to charge your batteries up down here as well. So they're both in line, so they both do exactly the same thing. So yeah, plenty of charge in those. So cover them back up like that. That's it. So they're all in there, quite well wedged in. Also, we've got the actual habitation door, which latches over on this little magnet. Where are we? The switch for the step, so I'll bring that back out now. It's just there. That comes out like that. And these bits here are just basically the air ride, so you've got like air ride suspension basically. So if you're on a campsite and you wanted to raise or lower the suspension to make it level, and that's where you go to it there. But really, you just sort of leave that alone. You don't need to worry about that too much. Again, still on the near side, we've got this here. So this is your fridge vents. So if you weren't 100% sure that the fridge was lit on gas, you can pop your hand over the top up here, and I can feel hot air coming out through there because I've got the fridge lit on gas. Next thing along is the external gas point. So it's got barbecue written on it because it's a barbecue point. So if you take this little cap off down here, you've got a little gas sort of push fitting, and if you turn that on, it'll allow the gas to come through. All right, so that's how you use that. We'll pop that cap back on. Just make sure that's properly over, which it is. Back here, you've not really got much to sort of show except for this little yellow lever. So this is the boiler drain. So if I lift it up into the vertical position like that, as you can hear, all the water from the boiler will start to pump out underneath. So that's where you drain it out. If you like, you can also just push down on it, but you know, it's up to you. So if you were going to leave it empty, you can leave it up, but if you wanted to, you know, fill it up so you can use it, obviously it needs to be in that position that it's in now. And your water pump is over the back here, nice big Aqua 8 water pump, but no leaks or anything like that, so it's all good as it should be. Reversing camera sits in that nice little sort of cap casing up there, and you've got your tow bar and your ladder which folds down. The toilet cassette now, so we're on the off side now. Toilet cassette, you've got a little lever underneath, pull that up and pull out, pull this all the way out. When you come to emptying these out, you need to obviously take this cap off, turn it out so it's facing me now, and then hold that yellow button down when you're emptying it, because that's an air pressure release valve. So yeah, that's all you need to know with that, really. Not too much to know. So when you're putting it back in, you go all the way in until you hear the click, and that's over, and that's it. You've got a fresh water toilet flush, so you don't need to worry about any pink fluid. But if you did want to use pink fluid around the bowl anyway, you can buy spray cans, you know, pump bottles, just so you know that as well. It's something I would recommend if you want to sort of keep the bowl moisturised. Fresh water inlet, so if you push in and round to the left, that'll release, and then to lock it back up again, push in and round to the right, and then you'll be able to lock it up with one of these circular keys. There you go. So whichever way it'll go, and then it just spins, you can't take it out. So if I just show you, put it in and turn it again, whatever way it'll go, take the key out, and then it comes straight out. Alright, so pop that away, lock her up. Next we've got the external water point, so that's hot or cold, and it's the same kind of fitting for the gas here. So this is obviously for water, I mean it's just the same kind of fitting. So pop it on, and then once that's in, you know, in and tight, you can use this to turn and get hot or cold water coming out the outside of the van to clean your shoes or the dog or anything like that. This one here, just literally just for storage. Not really much to show you in here if I'm honest, but you got a couple of things that these will be the pipes for the sink, and then to close up any of these style of locks, it's a case of putting the key in, choosing the right key to start with, popping the key in, and then turning it whichever way it will go. So there you go, it was the right key. So if you, this is where it was, so at the moment it's moving. If I turn it and pull it out, it won't move. Same for the bottom. That's it. This is your hookup point over here on the off side. So if you're at a campsite or at home, you want to use your plug sockets and things like that, you can use your hookup there on the outside. And again, just make sure to give it a little tap so it's over its corners. The gas locker, nice big gas locker. Just pop the keys away a sec. We lift that up and it's got the same little magnet hook there so it doesn't fall down. This little front piece comes out, by the way, just so if you're wondering, you know, so if you're ever going to struggle, then you can go here to remove that. So we've got the sort of, at the moment we've got just a 6 kilo propane bottle in here and pretty standard regulator. It's on at the moment, so it's anti-clockwise round to the left for on, and if you go all the way on, you won't forget which way is off, which is clockwise round to the right. So yeah, not much to show you there really. So to actually open that up as well, by the way, is this little lever inside the driver's door. So pull that and that will allow you to open up this gas locker. So we go on the inside now. I'll try not to get it too messy. First of all, above the door here, we've got a couple of bits. So we've got the main control panel here. So we've got on and off up here in the corner. So we switched it on, it all comes to life. And then straight away, if we start flicking through this top button here, go through here, don't worry about any of those. We get to wastewater, 0% full, fresh water, 25% full, vehicle battery level, and leisure battery level. All right, and then it goes back to the beginning. So that's how you go through and check all your levels and all your voltages and things like that. Pump, switch that on. Aux, switch that on as well. So that'll do all your ignition and your water pump and all those kinds of things. And then this top right button here is to swap batteries. Okay, so if you want to run everything off your engine battery for whatever reason, you can do that, but I would not recommend doing that at all. All right, so just leave that one off for the most part. This little button in here is a switch for your fridge on 240, so leave that on if you want to use it on 240. Up here again we've got a couple of switches here which are just for lights, so they're the ones that go up over the lockers. So this one here is for your boiler, so you've got Trumatic C. Someone's written on there a little W, which is correct. So the two top ones here that say 40 and 60, that's 40 and 60 degrees hot water. So and this is just gas only. So if I go up one, the boiler will light up and then it will start to cool the heat the water up to 40 degrees. And if I went up one more, it would do the same thing, but it would heat the water up to 60 degrees. All right, off down to the middle. If I go down one, that's heating only. And this is the sort of the gas dial for that. If I go down 2, it's heating and 60 degrees hot water. All right, so pretty easy. It tells you exactly what it does on the side, and then back to the middle for off. So then the next thing to show you is the 3-way fridge. So you've got a gas, 240 and 12 volt on this one. So gas is the most efficient, the quickest, should I say, to get it cold. Followed by the 240 and then 12 volt. The 12 volt won't get the fridge cold on its own. It needs to be cold already, and that's only for when your engine's running. All right, so if I had it down here, you'll get a little light come up there when your engine starts up, but that'll only start cooling the fridge or keeping the fridge cold when it's already cold. All right, so you need to get the fridge cold either via the 240 or the gas first, perhaps the night before you go away, and then when you are cold and everything inside the fridge is already cold, you can switch it down to 12 volt, start the engine up, and then go wherever you're going. And then when you get to where you're going, everything will still be cold. All right, so like I said, switch on up there for the 240, so you can switch it there as if you've got a hookup cable plugged in, and then as long as your gas is on, you can light her up on gas. Okay, so that's all that, it's pretty simple. This little dial on the right is totally unnecessary, except for if you're absolutely in the peak of summer and you can't quite light the gas up. You probably be able to hear it popping and things like that on the back. If you turn this all the way down to where it is now and try it again, you'll find that it should light up no problem. And then once it is lit, you can turn it all the way back up. All right, so that's all there is to that. You've got a few bits in here, sort of like TV points, 12 volt and 240 at the top, and a couple of aerial points there as well. Then you can close that up by putting this round and this one. Got a little magnet in the middle, like that. Most of the lights around the van have got their own switches, so you know, you don't have to worry. You can just sort of go around and choose which ones you do and you don't want on. The cooker, the hob and the oven and the grill, you've got a 240 volt hob ring in the corner, so that's this switch down here, so you've got one all the way through to 6. So that'll only work obviously when you've got your hookup plugged in. The rest of them, you've got an igniter down here, which is for all 3 burners, the grill and the oven, and you've got the individual on and off switches like that. Okay, so this one here with no numbers on it is the grill, and this one here with all the numbers round to 9 is the oven. So pretty easy on that front, if I'm honest. Obviously the grills get really, really hot, so you know, just bear that in mind. And there you go, so that's all there is to it. You've got a thermocouple on every single one of these, obviously except for the oven, the hot ring, which is this little bit of metal sticking up at the front. So basically if you had this lit up on gas, it would realise, and you know, if you had one of these lit up and then somehow the wind blew it out, the thermocouple there would work out that there's no burnt gas coming through, and it would shut all the gas off to that specific burner, and it would stop the gas coming through, so you won't be able to sort of pump unburnt gas into the van. So they've all been good and all been checked. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and I'm doing a bit of a funny order, but the first thing you're going to want to do when you come into the van, if you're going to use the hot water and the heating and all that kind of stuff, is pop these 3 buttons on like I've shown you, and then come straight to your sink and just pour the water through. Just making sure that you've not got any big air pockets in and around. There should be a little bit of air because I've let a little bit of water out of the boiler. So once the water's coming through nice and smooth like it is now, and you go through and you can switch between hot and cold a little bit and just make sure there's no air in the system at all. Then you can drop that down, wait for the pump to drop out, like that, and then you can come up here and start playing around with your boiler. All right, so like I showed you, the boiler is just under here under the bed, but the dropout for it is over there. It's easiest to get to from outside. Down here you've got a gas manifold, so you've got 4 different appliances, all with their own specific isolator. So they've all got diagrams on them, and so if you wanted to isolate any of the appliances to the gas, then that's where you do it. If you thought you had a problem with any of them, then that's where you go to switch them off. Let's see, what else have we got? I'll show you in the bathroom. Open the door up. What have we got in here? Anything? Just lots of storage in there. So exactly the same tap on here. You can just do the same thing if you like. If you've not used the van for a little while, it's worth coming through and just pulling all the taps. Just make sure there's no air in any of the pipes. This swivels all the way around to wherever you like it. So this little blue button on the top does the flush fluid. So you pump that around. As long as your pump switch is on, you'll get fluid coming through there, and then sometimes it splashes up, so put the lid down, and then you've got this little lever, open it up, so that lets all the water into the cassette, close it back up. And the reason you've got to close it back up is, like I said on the outside, you might find that when you go to pull the cassette out, you won't be able to pull it out if it's not all the way closed up. Got the shower here, exactly the same again. There's no difference to that. All the drains go to the right place, go to the waste tank, and yeah, so not much to show you, to be honest. Not much to show you in there. Like I said, all the lights and all that kind of stuff have got their own switches and own, you know, power supplies, so you can sort of go through and really make it your own on that front. Probably the most important thing, or most important cupboard at least in the van, is this one in here. So you've got your PSU, your power supply unit, which is a Sargent unit. So on the left hand side at the bottom you've got fuses, and it tells you here exactly what all of those do. And you've got your MCBs and your RCD over here. So these are your MCBs, that's your RCD, and it also tells you what those 3 MCBs do. So you've got 1, 2 and 3, and they all do a specific thing. Okay, now the left hand one here, the RCD, that is the main one, which will sort of trip if you put a dodgy plug into one of the sockets. So if you just come in here and just check that first, if you don't have anything working on the electric, and the button at the top here, you can leave that on at all times, because that'll only work when you plug the cable in, and that charges your batteries. These bits down here, these are all just for the sort of the entertainment system and the TV. So you've got your aerial booster up here, so you can switch that off for now. So yeah, that's where the sort of entertainment part of the van is. So yeah, quite important. I have just realised, if I open this back up, I think I've made a bit of a mistake on the video. So down here, because there's no separate dial for the electric for that, I thought that this was for the fridge, but actually that is for the boiler. So if you turn this on, that should start getting your boiler, the water hot inside your boiler, like that. All right, so yeah, I made a bit of a mistake there. I thought that was for the fridge at first, but I'm pretty sure that's for the boiler. I didn't do the hab check on this specific van, so I wasn't sure at the very start, but I'm sure that's for the boiler actually, because you've got this little red plug in the side of the boiler there. So yeah, so that's your boiler controller for electric. So if you wanted to heat your water up via the electric, go there. All right, and you get a little red light come up on that when you put the hookup in as well. So yeah, sorry about that, that's my own fault. Should have been better prepared. So yeah, so like I said, all the lights have got their own individual switches up and around the van. You've got plenty of storage around the place. Let me think, what else have we got? There. All of your paperwork for the van is in here, in that brown box. Your main skylight here, your hecky, if you push these little buttons in and then open those up, like so, you pull this handle down and then push up here, and that'll hold itself up, and then you can pop this away like that, and then pull it back down again. Just make sure that you pull it down and just don't let it slam. Bring it down nice and easy, and then pop these back across. That's totally locked up. And for the other ones, you've just got this little dial here, so if you just turn that, that'll start to open it up. And then you got your fan as well, right, inside and out, and someone's kindly written it on there which one's in and out. You've also got this, which should just be fan and sort of like an air conny kind of thing, a hot and cold air, and that's a 240 volt thing. All right, so that's when you got your hookup cable plugged in, that you can use that. So yeah, so I don't think there's really much else I can show you, if I'm honest. If I just go have a look outside and make sure I've not missed anything underneath, which I have. So just here at the very back on the near side, you've got your freshwater drain. So if you just open that little cap up there, that'll start draining out your fresh water. If I just have a look around the other side. And then here, if I just show you this, on the off side at the back, you got this here, which is your wastewater drain. So if I turn this, plenty of wastewater in there, and so that's how you drain that out. That's from that little lever at the back there. Turn that so it's flat like that, and that's how you drain out your wastewater. So I think I've shown you everything I can show you, but if you think there's anything that I've missed out, obviously let us know. But otherwise we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.